was he supposed to be drafting this year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was going to be his last season playing college ball.
So if it's a spring league, I have a feeling he would opt out because he already knows he's going to be number 1 overall, right? It's a quarterback-driven league, man. Depending on which team, and depending if a team just has a quarterback who,
I said Clemson, but anyway, look. Have you watch? Okay, you said you watch baseball, right? Like, do you watch it pretty, like, religiously? Like,
name another sport.
Okay, well, no. Well, the reason why I brought up baseball is one of the best players in the Braves is Ronald Acuna, right? I think he almost hit 40. He almost went 40-40 last year. That's 40 stolen bases and 40 home runs. It kind of had a dip towards the end of the regular season. But when he came back, and let me know if the thing is too loud, the lawnmower. When he came back this season, he looked visibly chunkier. And that's because between when the Braves season ended, with that 10-0 loss to the Cardinals in Game 5 of the NLDS, so between then and when they were supposed to come back, that's only 4 months, I think, 5 months. But then COVID hit, and then they were out for another 3 months. And rather than swinging and practicing and all that stuff, Acuna was going to the buffet apparently, and he just didn't look like
he was having a good home cooking with that contract that he had. He was getting his mofongo and his
It reminds me of Keenan as David Ortiz in SNL. But
so number 1.
Yeah, exactly. But over time, Acuna got his swing back. Now he's playing like the Acuna we know. But I don't think the reason I bring that up is I don't think we can just assume because Trevor Lawrence has been at this high
So you're
all the
saying
time.
that he's gonna need that time to be able to actually get more reps in and keep his.
Because you're taking him out of that football routine, right?
That's true.
Atrophy happens to everybody. So,
yeah. And this would be the first time that he probably hasn't played started playing in August since probably in 5 years, since he's been playing since high school.
And we have to know how players adapt to that.
That's true.
Change.
That's right. I mean, I don't think he'll gain any weight. Not him. But yeah, I really would like to see where the league's what college football is going to do. In regards to this, this is what I told somebody on Twitter because they posted the Big Ten folded real fast, right? And like I said, I don't really know much about sport. I don't really know much about college football, but I do know enough where I can speak on certain aspects of it. And one of the aspects that I can speak on is they were like, why did they fold so quickly? And my thing is, I'm like, because the players were asking them to completely comp any medical bills that might happen, and then I think I don't know if they did. I think there must have been speculation, but I don't know if they were asking for. This is also we're not talking about now. We're talking about long-term medical ailments that might happen due to this. Because there's another an Atlanta sportscaster named Gina Thomas. I don't know if you know about her, but she got her and her husband got COVID back when it first started, around March or April. And I asked her, because I'm friends with her on Twitter, and I commented on one of the things, and I asked her, do you still have the cough? And she says, yeah, we still have a cough. So she still has the cough from that time period till now. I mean, do you know how much of a pain in the butt having a cough is? Imagine having it for, she's had it. What's that? That's 4 months now that she's had that, and I don't know what that cough is like. I don't know if it's the chest congestion type of cough or it's just it hurts your throat. But you know what I'm saying? So it's uncomfortable. So the players were asking for long-term medical treatment. And I said,
if the symptoms become chronic, are you going to cover that? Basically?
And so what's the best way for a money-driven entity to fold is when you're asking for long-term money. That's the quickest way. And they're like, and I don't care what people say, these college programs, California is doing it right now, but these college programs, they don't want to pay these kids. They don't want to pay these kids at all. They throw out that BS idea like, oh, we're giving them a free education. Look, Trevor Lawrence is not going to Clemson for a degree. He's not. He's going because he's doing an application for the NFL so he can make his millions later on, right? So because as soon as he's drafted, he knows, oh, I'm drafted, I'm a millionaire now. Like all these players know that they're a millionaire now, as soon as they're getting drafted. So
you make the NCAA sound like a Ponzi scheme. Like if you give us this money right now for 4 years of your life, then you will go on to make millions for the rest of your life, or not the rest of your life, but for your career. Yeah. But then, how do you guarantee that you're actually gonna get drafted? You're actually gonna, you're here getting hurt.
Because the thing is, all these kids, unless they really have a good head on shoulder, the majority of these kids think they can get drafted, honestly. And then there's some. Don't get me wrong. There's a good majority, I'm sure, that no, I'm not going to get drafted. After I play college football, I'm done. But look, when the XFL came out, they didn't have an issue getting players because these are people who still want to play football, who still want to put tape on for the NFL. Anytime there's a spring league, they have no shortage of players. They just have shortage of money, but they have no shortage of players. What was the other one right before the XFL? The American Sports Football League of America or something like that. I forgot what the hell it was called. Yeah, I know that it was a horrible name. It was a horrible name. We had the Atlanta Legends here, So there's never going to be a shortage of players. So there's not. So yeah, these colleges can easily basically make them think like, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to play. If I was like that, if I had enough, if I had been a decent football player and somebody had offered me a scholarship, right? I'm thinking, you're offering me a scholarship to play in college football. I'm going to be thinking, hey, maybe that's enough for me to get to the NFL. Maybe I'm that good, and no, I'm really an average player. It's just that I'm good enough to go to play for your college program, but I'm not good enough to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of these guys. So they don't want to pay these kids. They're not going to pay these kids because the thing is, though, the question after that comes is, I'm paying you now. How much am I paying you after? Am I still going to pay you? So there's just so many different questions about that. They just flat out say no. It's gonna happen though. I think the atmosphere behind that kind of behind that idea is starting to warm up to players getting paid more than before.
And I think a lot more than in the past, the information about it to the layman, right? So not just people like you and I that watch football, but to people who barely pay attention to it. They're more aware now that these guys are basically playing and making billions for this entity for free. Well, not for free, for tuition.
Yeah, but you also remember you have a college football coach who's getting paid about $4 million, and there's somebody on that sidelines who's for a while was struggling to eat until they finally started fixing that. You know what I'm saying? Like he only could eat the meals at the school. And didn't have meals on the weekend.
I hated whenever I hear that, this player suspended for the game this Saturday because he was caught signing autographs, or he was at this mattress factory and
my thing is, it's my name. Like, where are you?
Exactly.
Get up off me. It's my brand. I built it.
So if you're not gonna pay them, at least allow them to use. If they have elevated themselves so highly in their particular position or in what they do, then allow them to use their name and their brand however they see fit. As long as they're not out there maligning the name of the NCAA or the school, then what's the problem with allowing them to make money in some kind of way? Let them go out to the dealership, sign autographs or whatever. Let them do that.
So in regard, because we were supposed to talk about Todd Gurley, that was on the list. Was Todd Gurley the one that got caught but didn't admit it, so he got away with it, or he got suspended, or he got in trouble for something like that? I think it was his dad was doing something. I don't remember exactly what Todd Gurley was doing.
I mean, I don't remember about Todd Gurley specifically. I just know that there's just too many of them to count.
Yeah.
where like I'll be working at the bookstore and I'm hearing at the UGA bookstore, and then I'm hearing that, oh, this person is suspended for the game this Saturday, because of this. And I'm like, really? That's the thing? But it is. I don't want to malign the NCAA any more than anyone else has already done, but it is kind of like slavery. Like, look, for these 4 years, we own you. You're not allowed to use your name in the way you see fit. Like,
I mean, I remember reading this article on Men's Health. I think it was Men's Health. It was a football player. I forgot his name, and I think he quit the NFL, right? And he started painting. He started drawing, and one of the paintings that he did was actually so it was kind of like a split or a reflection kind of thing where, like, it was the same person, but it was like each side was like something else. So on one side of the painting, it was the NFL player, just got drafted, throwing his fingers up, like, hey, peace, whatever, had chains on and all that stuff, jerseys and all that good stuff. But then the direct reflection of it was a slave on the slave box being auctioned off. So basically, it was drawing the parallel, like, look, just because we traded in the chains for chains, for different type, we traded them for gold chains. It's still the same principle. I mean, some people might argue that when the Carolina Panthers went out, when they were up for sale, they purposely didn't want P. Diddy to get it, Remember, because he was close to getting it, and then some guy came out and said, I'll pay y'all straight cash, and then we're like, all right, we're going to go with him.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument for certain systemic problems within the NFL. I think theirs is a little better hidden than the NCAA's. I think NCAA is egregious in how they treat players.
But it's kind of a reflection of society overall. It's just the only difference is between billionaires and millionaires. But it's the same as society overall with haves versus have-nots. Like, the system thinks we're getting something, but in reality, they're still getting a lot more out of it. Like, it's just basically what it is. Like, people always want to say, "Oh, these millionaires." Like, yeah, but these millionaires are sacrificing their bodies. They're throwing their bodies around and messing up, scrambling their brains for millions, while these billionaires are still making more money. And in fact, if you look at the way the football works, once the billionaire owns that business, he's not really spending that much of his own money anymore. You know what I mean? Like, because I've always wondered how a billionaire can buy $1 million company or buy a company for $1 billion. You're worth $70 billion. You buy it for $1 billion. I look at your net worth a few years later, you're at 80 billion. Like you didn't lose any money, you gained more. So it's just like they're still being used, even though, yeah, they're getting a lot more out of it. But look what's happening. Players are killing themselves. Players are, having problems, having societal problems. Player like Antonio Brown. Some people might say Antonio Brown is messed up the way he is now because he was hit in his head by what's his name? Dirtiest player in the game. He is the dirtiest player in the game.
Not Jones.
Bunkerfest. I don't know these names, man.
Yeah, let's not say the wrong person's name.
Hey, I cleared that up, though.
We don't want to get sued by another person.
On our first episode. But anyways, but yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like so I think it's still a little bit of, like, it's still the whole being used kind of thing, in the same way we're being used by but these people that weren't visible. I don't want to go into the whole elites versus the 1%. I don't want to. I'm a progressive. I'm not trying to be like going all to the Bernie Sanders. The billionaires and the corporatists. But yeah. So we were supposed to. So long story short, do you think? So you say that the NFL is not gonna? They're probably not gonna play.
I'm 70% sure that they will not. There won't be a season. And I'm actually the commissioner of my fantasy football league, one of them. and I'm hesitating to send out my normal, like, beginning of season, like, message that I send out and what we're expecting this year. If you guys want to join the league, if you want to rejoin the league, let me know. I'm hesitant to do all that because I still think all of this is up in the air, and I'm like, why even go through all that? Right. But I did buy a neutral, so.
And it was Vontae's birthday.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah.
And do you remember the thing I told you when you asked me about fantasy football? Do you remember what I said when you because you were like something? What do you remember what I said?
No, I don't remember specifically, but I remember it being something snacky.
Something.
I
said fantasy football is for men or for people, because some women play football. Fantasy football. Actually,
the last winners of my league were women.
Oh, so fantasy football is for people who can't play football or who suck at football and suck at fantasy. But that's it. Honestly, it's just with me. Is you know what I hate? This is what I hate. I hate when people say, and I don't want to be that person. They say, "Oh, my team lost, but at least my fantasy team did good."
Oh yeah, okay. I do hate that too. I do hate that.
Because if my team lost, if the Falcons lost, I'm just pissed. Period. I'm not happy that my fantasy football, even though you win money with it sometimes.
Well. Okay. Let me clarify. I don't like when people are happy that the fantasy football team won when it was at the expense of the team losing. and let me explain. Right? So, like, if the Falcons were playing the Saints, and I have Saints defense, and the Falcons lost because of the pick six at the very end, so that pick six helped me win my fantasy football matchup. I'm not gonna be. Huh?
If that happens, I blame you. I blame you.
Right.
Anyways,
so I'm not gonna be going on Facebook like, yeah, I want fantasy football because of that pick six. No, I think that's a dumb thing to do. All right. I love fantasy football.
All right. So, anyways, real quick recap. Like you said, you have a 7% chance. I think they'll still play, but I think there's a highly likelihood of it being suspended. We're gonna find out. We're in a weird time. Obviously, with this pandemic, this is just the strangest situation that I think we've ever been in, because it's just never been. I never had to deal with a lockdown. I've never had to deal with a curfew my entire time that I've been alive. So this is a strange thing. So since this is a strange situation, we decided me and you are strange people, so we're just gonna go ahead and create a podcast. So hopefully people will give us a chance and listen to us. We don't know exactly how we're gonna release this. We might release this in clips because, like we said, how long did we talk today?
So right now we're at over 2 hours. I do want to say, first off, sorry guys for the audio issues. And secondly, I don't know if this first episode will actually be a podcast. I think it might be YouTube only, because just from I'm having an inkling that the audio isn't going to come up all that well in just an only audio format. So we might have it be YouTube. But going forward, the plan is to have the audio from our recording be a podcast, and then chop up the videos to be different YouTube clips. So that's just the breakdown of that.
All right, we'll see. Well, we'll see what happens. Tell your friends. Subscribe to us. Definitely reply to us. Let us know if you have any ideas of where our conversations should go. Like we said, like me and Zino said when we first started this, we'll talk about everything and anything, and we'll chop it up into clips, so that way if you don't want to hear us talk about football, but you like hearing us talk about politics, and vice versa. If you like the conversation in regards to the comic books that we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, or that we representation in the media, talking about Hamilton, we're gonna try to talk about. We could talk about anything and everything. Me and Zino are just everyday guys. We really are. We're obviously not gonna pay our mortgage with this. Although if we hit a certain percentage in subscribers on YouTube, maybe we'll be able to, take a lengthy vacation. But
yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm trying to be a millionaire after this.
Well, all them big bucks on podcasts, it makes sense, But if you guys, if you just give us a listen and let us know what you keep listening to us. Let us know what you think, and then hopefully we'll be able to keep doing this, and hopefully we'll be able to speak on some stuff that you'd like to hear us talk about.
All right, thank you. Well, this has been ZB Talk, and we'll hope to see you next time.
All right.